One of the things I thoroughly enjoy doing on this channel is on Sunday, we bring on some new faces and new voices with new stories. We have one today, Stacy DeRose. How you doing, Stacy?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Thank you very much for saying yes to this. Thank you very much for being an active school participant. Love seeing the interaction you're leading with, and you said yes to a discussion, so thank you.
I did. I apologize for the delay. That cold I had took my voice away for 2 weeks, so kind of need that for a YouTube video.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So thank you for being here. We always start with, hey, introduce Stacy, and share your story.
Great. Yeah, Stacy DeRose. I'm a mom of three. We've lived all over the country, California, North Dakota, back to Indiana. That's home. We're in our mid 40s. We started investing almost exactly 2 years ago. The gateway book was Rich Dad Poor Dad. My husband has always wanted to do real estate investing. I was not on board. And then his job took us all over the country. And to supplement that, I started an online business. I bring in pallets of goods and sell them on eBay and other places online. So wherever we've moved, I've never had to look for employment or childcare because I've been able to work from home. So
That's
I like to
awesome.
say from home before it was cool, you know. So I've been doing that for about 17 years.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, yeah. And back then you actually had to take your packages to the post office and write
Yeah,
out your labels. There was no such thing as a label printer.
I can imagine writing the labels, 15
Yeah,
years ago. Yeah.
it took a while. Um, but yeah, we started in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's where my husband's from. And his job moved us in 2011 to San Diego, and we were there for 4 years. We chose to go to North Dakota from there. Yeah, big
Wow,
change. Yeah,
San Diego to North Dakota.
we at least moved in the summer so our kids could acclimate. And so we were there for 2.5 years, and then a position opened up in Fort Wayne, which is very rare.
Right.
For him. He told me never to not expect to ever get back here.
Mhm.
Um, but we were fortunate. He had the qualifications they wanted, and we moved back about 6 years ago.
Nice.
So we had to sell our house in North Dakota in January.
Oh,
That
that's probably not easy.
that was not easy, but I tell you what, we prayed a lot, and we had 90 days to sell our house before the government bought it back, and we sold it on day like 81. So very fortunate there.
Nice.
Moved back in with his parents, had 7 people and 1,200 square feet, just
Ooh,
like California.
yeah, exactly. Sounds very, very common.
Yeah, yeah. So it took us a few months to find a house. The Fort Wayne market had turned very hot since we had been
Mhm.
gone. That was 2018. And our offers kept getting rejected, even though they were on they one of the first offers. It didn't matter. We were, going above asking. It didn't matter. The house that we're in now, I mentioned this in school. It had been on the market for 5 whole days. Like, okay, what's wrong with this house? It's kind of perfect for us. We put in an offer. Didn't lowball them, but they accepted right away. I was like, okay, okay. And then we were in and out of the house during the pending period because they were selling some of their furniture to us. And when we got to the closing table, we found out that the lockbox didn't work for anybody but us.
Ah, there you go.
So, answered
Yeah,
prayer.
yeah.
People were trying to see the house and either walking away angry, or they were trying to reschedule. And then by then it was pending to us. So,
The lockbox gods helped you out.
yes, yes, they did. And so skip skip ahead, what, about 3 years? That's when I started realizing that what we were bringing in wasn't going to be enough for what we wanted to do and for retirement. Um, my husband has early retirement, mandatory early retirement. He has to retire by 57 at the absolute late, and you have to have a good reason to stay that long. He could retire as soon as early as 50, and that's it now in, gosh, 5 years.
Okay.
And I also wanted to do stuff with our house, and I remember standing in the kitchen like, I'm never gonna get new floors on our income. Um, and so I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it just clicked. It's like, okay, real estate is where we should go.
There you go.
Um, I do not get stuck in analysis paralysis. Within 2 months of that, we had our first property.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm the risk taker of the two of us. He's the calm and methodical one. So together we work, and true partnership.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like it.
yeah. So with our first house that we bought, it was a duplex,
Hmm.
only 10 minutes away from us, turnkey, priced well below market. And what happened was we put in an offer, and we were almost immediately told, hey, there's 10 other offers, submit your best and final. Okay. Well, I had been speaking with my parents through this journey, who were accidental landlords and hated it. They cannot
Mm.
understand why we do this. But it is what it is. They liked the house. I'd sent them pictures, and they called me while I was at my son's baseball game and said, we'll give you a line of credit up to $200,000 for you to get this house. So we settled at 3.5%.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was very grateful because it was the cash offer combining with, we weren't looking to move the tenants. We weren't going to displace them.
Nice.
Uh, the landlord, or the seller had been a landlord, and this was his last property before
Mm.
retirement. They were selling, that was their baby.
Got it.
And so I put an offer in. They were asking 140, ended up at 175, all cash, no inspection.
What year was that? Was that like 22?
22. We
Okay.
bought on Friday, October 13th
Oh, I
of
like
22.
Friday,
So
October 13th.
yeah,
Oh, Friday the 13th.
yeah.
That's a
Well,
good day to remember.
yeah. Who was it? I was so
Yeah.
nervous. I couldn't even talk to the tenants at first. I had to build
Oh.
courage to talk to them. I, everything I had learned was through podcasts and through
Mm.
books. Um, and now it was real life. It was getting real. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, my husband's a negotiator, and I'm like, all right, he's going to talk to tenants. They were really paying under market
Mhm.
rent at
Yep.
the time. I'm like, I'm gonna do Dion's binder method.
There you
So
go.
I get all prepared. I'm like, Joe, you're gonna do this talk to him. I'll get everything ready. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. We get there, and he's quiet as a mouse. Okay.
Oh,
So
oh, so Stacy has to step up.
I step up, and I fail miserably at the binder method. I'm not very good at it. The first tenant, we had bought October. We were looking to raise rent. They were month to month, and after the holidays, and we were going from 575 to 700.
Okay.
And for on her side, she was a one bed, one bath, and uh, it also included water, trash, sewage. And she wasn't too happy about it, but she did her own research. So she found out that the going rate was around 1,100 for what she had.
Oh,
Yeah. So
wow. She's like,
yeah,
okay, I'll take 700.
she changed her tune real quick.
Yeah. Well,
The other,
I wouldn't say you failed. I thought that sounds like a win to me. The binder strategy working again.
yeah, I knew what market rates were, but obviously she didn't. But she had to see it
Sure.
for herself. I
Yeah.
get that.
That's exactly what it's supposed to do. That's good.
Yeah, we've got her up to 810 now. She's still with us. She's lived there for, gosh, almost 12 years.
Wow.
And the last rate increase we gave her, I also gave her a new fridge. She had wanted a fridge. The old one was working fine, but it was old.
Mm.
And I'm like, hey, here's a new fridge. And by the way, here's a
Yeah.
lease, a small price increase.
Yeah.
Um, and the other side, she went from 625 to, I think it was like 800, but she was only going to stay there for another 6 months.
Okay.
So I knew we could raise rent once she moved out. It was just a waiting game.
Okay.
Um, she was very high maintenance. I do not miss her. When she moved out and everything kind of calmed down, I'm like, oh, landlording isn't that hard after all. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, it's really funny. All these years, when I go back and I audit, my last year, it's funny how one or two people in my entire portfolio creates 80% of the nonsense.
Yes.
It's just really weird. It's like, oh, I'm going to remove that one. That one's going
I,
to go away.
ooh, I mean, she kept the place spotless. She did break the screen door that I replaced. She thought that because she left it spotless, I wouldn't have charged her for that. But it is what it is. You broke the door.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, once she was gone, everything kind of calmed down, and then we started looking for our next property. I went shopping.
Yay.
Knows when I go shopping, I'll find a property.
Nice.
The second one was through our realtor. She was the listing agent, and it was on the market for 24 hours.
Wow.
But it's the one that I mentioned that in school, that's 3 city lots. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
so it has the house with its own garage. The other lot on one side has its own driveway with a large, uh, like a car workshop garage. That's about 550 square feet.
Mm.
It's large. It has built-in shelves, power, and then the other side is empty. And it was on the market for 111. The house is a 2-1, about 750 square feet. Super cute smoker house though. And we got it for 115.
Okay.
And then we spent about $16,000 to get that house smoke free,
Mm.
smelling good, cleaned it out. It had been a foreclosure that a flipper had bought. He
Okay.
threw a new roof on and made like $30,000 within 3 weeks.
Okay.
Whatever, you know.
Whatever.
So I did have a huge garage sale, made some money back with all the furniture. That's my thing. I love garage sales.
Nice.
Um, and so we rented that last July. Mark, we rent that out now for 1,400.
Mm.
And then the additional garage, we bring in 400 a month for it, so 1,800
That's
on that.
great.
Yeah, we have a 7-1 arm on it. It's 5.82%. Mortgage is around $632.
Okay.
So we'll have that paid off within the 7 years pretty easily. And then that fall on Halloween, we bought a house around the corner from it, a single family.
You like these dates. You got Friday the 13th, you got Halloween.
I love October. My birthday's in October. October is a good month.
Yay.
Get the house ready for the spring. Get it
Yeah.
out. That third property, a single family home. It was a 2-1, 800 square foot, but it had a 300 square foot addition on it that we easily converted to a third bedroom.
Oh, I
Um,
love doing that. Taking
yeah,
space and making a bedroom. That's money right there.
so easy. My husband built the closet for about $500, and there's another 2 grand to add on to the existing HVAC
There you
back
go.
there. So that was also a 7-1 arm at 7%. So we're looking to refinance that one.
Yeah.
Uh, season period ends on Halloween, so a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Yeah, so I watch all your videos about the market rates with
Yeah.
a fight. All right, it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you whack a point of interest off that, it cash flows a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, it cash flows about $600 a month. And you know what? If I'm already cash flowing $600 a month at 7%,
Yeah.
that was it. So um
I love it.
and so we invest in a community called Waynedale. It's a
Okay.
section of Fort Wayne in the '09. And every day I was driving to those two properties, we saw this duplex that was just gorgeous. It looked like a ranch. It was a true duplex, and I was like, man, I'd love to have that one day. Well, I was scrolling through Facebook in February, and lo and behold, it was in our local RIA group, Facebook group for sale. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, so they had an open house. It was through a wholesaler, and they had an open house, and that was weird having all the other investors there
Yeah.
at the same time. And I'm very competitive, so it's like I want this. It's gonna be mine.
Yeah.
It ended up us and one other investor made the exact same offer. 200,000, no inspection. But we couldn't do a cash. It was conventional.
Sure.
Um, what the big difference was why we got it is because our realtor is an absolute bulldog. I love her.
Nice.
She talks to the buyers, their realtor, and just keeps them informed of every process, every step where we're at. And that's what got us this place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Having a competent realtor on your side is everything, right? Especially if they're going to pull the heavy lifting and
yeah,
the seller sometimes, especially in that situation, just want confidence to close.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
the wholesaler, I mean, the way
yeah.
they were going to have to do it was they bought the house, and then a few weeks later we bought it from them.
Yeah. A dual closing or a double close, whatever they call that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
close to
That's,
that was a few weeks of each other. Yeah.
yeah. That's
Um,
amazing.
but
So,
I didn't have any cash competition at
right.
that time. So the big boys didn't want the property.
Hmm.
It's 2 acres, and but
Oh, wow.
can't you couldn't build it's too small to divide and build on.
Hmm.
But if you keep the property as 2 acres, we can build on it. It's already zoned for multifamily use. So hopefully maybe one day we'll do a couple duplexes
There you
on the
go.
property. And that one, we got 6.875% 30-year
Nice.
mortgage. So the tenants each side was paying 600 a month
Hmm.
with free water, trash, and
Wow.
sewer. Yeah.
Ah,
Uh, I told them I couldn't do it. I mean, 600 a month for both sides didn't even cover the mortgage.
yeah.
Um,
No. No.
so one side, her lease was ending in April. She decided to move. She got married.
Yeah.
Happy ending there. And so we're renovating that side. And then that side actually had not been touched since 1965. It had the
Wow.
original carpet,
Wow.
original stove, original wallpaper. Yeah.
It's a
So
time capsule of the 60s.
it, I took some pictures. It's cute, but obviously it needed some love.
Yeah. Yeah. No
Um,
doubt.
and then the other side had been updated in like the 90s.
Okay.
And um, she, it, I couldn't afford $600 a month with her. And so
Mm.
she ended up moving. She also had dogs too.
Mm.
Um, so to have a tenant that below, yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Um, and then
When did you end up raising rents to with the new tenants?
so the side with the dogs, I actually just got it rented out last Friday.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
she moved out 2 weeks ago. Quick turnaround time. Got the carpets clean. They were in great shape. And put in some new updated fans, blinds, stuff like that. Easy stuff. Um, so that side now is bringing 1,100 a month.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And then so our other side is the problem side. We found a leak underneath the cast iron tub
Ooh.
on the other side, and so that was a gut job. Our contractor at the time did not pull the permit to do that. He thought it was cosmetic and not
Uh,
structural. And it's on a busy road, and a commercial inspector drove by, put a stop work order on it,
yeah.
and that just got released last Monday. It'd been 2 months.
Yeah.
Um, that was a $3,000 fine, but our new contractor got it down to 1,000,
Nice.
and so that should be done in about 2 weeks. We've
Okay.
got new spring throughout, new stove, and it'll rent for either 12 or 1,300 a month. And
Nice.
each side is 900 square feet to one with a finished 900 square foot basement
Oh,
on
wow.
side. So they've got about 1,800 square feet on each side.
Wow. So is the basement just open space?
It's a true duplex. It is completely sealed off from each other. It does have a boiler on one side that has two separate lines running for
Okay.
each side,
Okay.
um,
Gotcha. Okay.
as an air conditioner. And so we pay water, sewer, and trash, but
Okay.
everything else is completely separated.
Nice. Wow. Rich Dad Poor Dad set you on an entirely new path, huh?
It did. I will never be as wealthy as Robert Kiyosaki, but we'll be okay.
Yeah, no, that's the whole point. It's
Yeah.
you got to take action. Get focused. I call it a buy box, obviously. You actually had something in one of your notes to me called a why box.
Yeah, my
What,
Y
what
box.
yeah, why don't you talk about that a little bit? I think that's really
That
clever.
that's as important as your buy box. Why are you doing this? Why are you risking, your financial future and adding more work? Especially in our case when we're the property managers and we do everything ourselves. Um, the Y box, my husband retires in 10 years. We keep our health insurance until 65, and we have a pension. But that pension obviously does not cover all of our expenses. So now with the rentals, we can have them all paid off in about 10 years. And we'll be bringing in probably around 3,000 more a month than what we make now.
Mhm.
Um, and we also do it for our kids. We
Yep.
can, between the rentals and his pension, there's a good chance we won't have to touch our retirement savings.
That's
Um,
nice.
but we still uh, invest like we don't have rentals. That's still building as well. My goal is to give each kid $1 million eventually, but to be honest, with my dad helping us out with the $200,000 loan, I would love to do that for them one
Mhm.
day. It's definitely generational wealth. My dad took a huge risk. He bought a hardware store. He was a W-2 employee, bought a hardware store in 95, was 15. And we moved for it, and then he decided to expand, and at the ripe old age of 65, put all of his retirement up as collateral to more than double. He moved to a new building and went from like 10,000 square feet to 26,000.
Wow.
That was in 2019, and then 2020 hit with COVID, and he was deemed essential with the hardware store. And the risk paid off.
Right.
Um, so I come from a family of risk takers, not
That's
super
awesome.
obvious ones, but so it's in my blood.
I
And
love that.
I've got a son. My youngest is special needs. He I call him my little car payment because he runs me about $300 a month with therapy and tutors and stuff. He has a language processing disorder,
Okay.
and so not only do I need to keep him in mind if he needs
Yeah.
long to leave the nest. I was able to, with the rentals and eBay, do all of his therapies and be there for him.
Yeah. That's
So
amazing.
rental property, eBay has slowed down significantly for me with this economy.
Mhm.
Since May, it's been terrible.
Mm.
But I didn't freak out because we have the rentals.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, let's talk about that eBay experience because again, you've been doing it for I think you said 17 years. Essentially, you buy pallets of stuff
Uh-huh.
that you buy by the foot and then you sell by the inch, right? You buy a bunch at a big discount and then you sell them
Yes.
individually.
Yeah.
Um, so why don't we? Because I think what you just said there is really interesting to me because I've seen a change in the economy kind of June and July. You actually say it may have started in May. So for comparison's sake, like what kind of I don't know how you would track this volume, units, dollars. What were you doing like January, February, and then how bad was May, June?
eBay is my main platform. I
Right.
sell on two other platforms. Uh, for years, I would do about 20 to 25,000 dollars gross in 3 months, 90 days. They track it every 90 days.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm down to 8,000.
Wow. Wow. So that's significant, right? That's what is that? A 60% drop? Oh, more. 20.
More.
Yeah. Wow. More. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That hurts my head thinking about that. That's yeah, 70%. Okay. That's really interesting. And again, these things are it's discretionary, right? If you're buying on eBay, it's not a necessity, right? It's not a staple.
Correct. However, I do try to pivot more towards the necessary. I sell a lot of coats.
Okay.
People
Got it.
need coats,
Yeah.
and so that's my main focus. So I do know that the summer months are leaner for me, but they've always still been able to provide,
Yeah.
the income that I need until this year. So I'm actually looking for a part-time job to supplement the eBay sales, and then I manage
Wow. So
that.
this is I mean, again, 17 years experience. This is the first time I'm guessing in 17 years you're like, wow, this is so bad. I got to get a part-time job. Interesting.
Yeah. So, and I would have done this a lot sooner if it weren't for the rentals. But the goal is not to live on that rental income.
Yeah.
The goal is to pay them off and have them ready for retirement.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's helped, but I need that supplement. I know sales will pick up in November,
Sure.
with oats, but it's not. It's a bit like the rug was pulled out from under me. That confidence isn't there anymore.
After 17 years of
Yeah.
doing this, wow, this recession might be a nasty one. Okay.
And I had the Great Recession with flying colors.
That's weird,
Um,
right? That's
yeah, I know there's other factors. There's more places to sell now,
sure.
um, different ways to sell. But selling secondhand or refurbished or being kind of like an online TJ Maxx,
Right.
it's worked until now.
Yeah, it's worked
So
until now. Wow. Very, very cool. I'm gonna pull up our texts. There's more stuff to talk about. Um, why don't you talk about what generational wealth means to you?
obviously stability. I My dad, he came from a middle class family, but to when his parents died, there wasn't much to pass along. My mom's side was farming family, and we still have the farmland that's rented out.
Mm.
But my dad, I feel like, has really, and it was obviously my parents. My dad's the money guy. Um, they they had the means to help us build our business. I have two sisters. They've also helped with. My middle sister has bought the business from them in the last couple of years, and so just giving us a leg up. It's not a handout; it's a hand up,
Right.
and that's what I want to instill in my kids. The money will hopefully be there, but it's a tool. It's not a handout. So
Right. I like that. I like that. How old are your kids? What's the range?
I have three kids. They're 14, so I have an incoming freshman,
Okay.
11 and 9. So I have two boys and a daughter.
All right. Is the 14-year-old to the age where he's helping you at all? Is like he going to the
Yeah,
properties with you and
yeah. He mows.
okay.
If they get in
Nice.
trouble, do yard duty.
I
Yeah.
like that.
So, he knows how to install a dishwasher now. He's
Wow.
helped dad put, or my husband put into
Yeah,
dishwasher so far. We talk about money to them.
that's awesome.
Uh, I is it Gary Allen who has the to get the kids into to businesses,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
the course that you put on school?
Oh yeah, that's Bill Allen. Bill Allen.
Bill, Gary Allen's the country singer.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's yeah, folks, Bill Allen put on a 3-day class trying to get teenagers to think about money.
yeah, and it's like, Bill's taking my job.
Here you go, Bill. Watch
My
this.
kids know this. They know mom will resell their toys and their clothes. So they've grown up to the sound of a take gun,
Yeah.
and I've taken them to garage sales and
Yeah.
taught them to negotiate. The confidence isn't there,
Yeah,
but the building blocks are there.
that's awesome.
Um, but
Talking
yeah,
about money is a big. I mean, I love this story, right?
yeah.
I mean, that's a mistake that Olivia and I made with our daughter Teresa. Is we didn't really talk about money until she was probably until she was in college. Like
Oh,
Olivia and I always talk, but I don't know. I didn't know if we didn't do it on purpose, but it was like, it was also how Olivia and I reconnected because I was traveling the world. So
sure.
like we would connect together and not, I don't know, quote unquote, bore Teresa, but that was a mistake. You got to talk about money with your kids.
Yeah. And we keep in mind their age.
Mhm.
You know, what we talk to each of them is different.
Yes.
The 14-year-old is knowing more and more about, house hacking. Um, uh, that he doesn't quite understand yet that the rental income could get you out of a bad job, basically give you that
Oh yeah.
financial. He's like, but if I find a job, I'm gonna like it, and we're good. That's great, but that's
That's
not
cute,
real.
son. That's cute.
Exactly. But they do.
You're so innocent.
I know. I love him to death. He's so
Yeah.
innocent.
Yeah.
But they do see that mom and dad have jobs outside of the rental business, and we're building this on the side.
Right.
And so hopefully, one day they'll do something similar.
That's awesome.
I can't push it on them, but I can give them
No.
the tool.
Yeah, I think just involving them. If I had it, just again being around the conversation, the vocabulary, things of that
Yeah,
nature. I
yeah.
think
He
that's so helpful.
compound interest. My husband has done a very good job of teaching him, and now we're talking to our daughter, about it. She wants to be a doctor. And she's like, but that's what I want to do. I'm like, well, eventually as a doctor you would make a lot of money, and real estate is a good, vehicle to invest in. And she's like, but I don't want to do what you do. So
Yeah,
you're the money. You don't have
that's
to
right.
be the manager.
No.
You're
Yeah.
the money person. Her eyes lit up. Okay, I'm getting to you.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll work on the 9-year-old. So
There you go. Yeah, you enjoy the time. You got it's so fun to watch. And I loved the story of your father who transitioned out of a W-2 and bet on himself, right? And then he bet on himself again, getting
yes,
to that bigger store. Um,
yeah. His dream was always to have a hardware store. He worked for what's now Duke Energy,
oh yeah, okay.
and they had moved us around Indiana a couple times, and they basically said, we're going to move you to Cincinnati, but after a year we can't guarantee your job.
Oh,
And so the hardware store was for sale in my mom's small town in Indiana, and I think they bought it for like 150,000, and
nice.
grew it from there. So yeah,
Pretty amazing.
it is amazing. But
And you were
that's also,
15, right? You were 15 when that happened?
so my sister's a lot younger than I am, and so they didn't know what it was like to have, one parent working, one parent at home, that single income, that
Yeah,
the um but it definitely made an impression on me, you
sure.
know that I knew, yeah, you get that corporate job, but is it always going to be there? So
Yeah. Do you remember if your mom and dad had that discussion? That's like we're doing this because, dad's job is not guaranteed and we're gonna
yeah, yeah, they involved me in discussion.
nice.
I was going into my sophomore year of high school. They even allowed me to do you want to move back to where my dad's family is, the town next door,
Mhm.
or to where my mom's family is and the hardware store? Well, I had went to school in the other town, so I had
Mhm.
asked to go back. So I'm looking back, I'm like, why did they give me that responsibility? Oh, but I mean, it definitely shaped my future. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, he one thing I'll never forget about my dad is him telling me, "You're going to college. Figure out how you're going to pay for it."
Nah, like it. You're going and you're paying for it.
Yeah, yeah. There's no money here to give you. I honestly didn't know that parents paid for their kids' college education until I was a freshman in college. Seriously. So,
That is
but
hilarious.
no student loan debt. So I
Good for
figured
you.
it out between jobs and keep applying for scholarships.
Mhm.
Kids forget that, once you're in college, you can still apply for scholarships.
For sure.
And so that's what I did. And
Good for you.
yeah, so we'll see if
That's
my
amazing.
kids will suit, but
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, why don't we close out by talking about school? You're obviously one of the school participants.
yeah,
Talk about the platform. Just how's it been?
it's been great. I think I was number 34, 35 to
Nice.
join.
Yeah.
With my background in eBay, I can tell a bargain or a deal right
Yeah.
away. I think maybe the second time you mentioned school when you first started in May, for $20, that's where I need to go. That's a deal. That is a steal.
There you go.
So that's mentioned tax write off.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So, it's been great. I've watched a lot of the videos of the content you put on there. I'll be working at a rental. I'll have a video on while I'm playing, or
Nice.
and it's nice that you're around people who have the same vision as you.
Yes.
Um, and there's no trolls. Like, there, you're gonna have to pay $20 a month to be a troll.
Yeah, I
You
know.
really
Yeah,
hated.
that's why the $20 is there. Because if you do a free one, you get trolls. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I do belong to a few Facebook groups, but there's always people in there that come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So I try to be an active participant in the discussions.
Yes,
Um,
thank you.
I am not a big numbers person, but I feel like I bring to the table more of the property management side.
Yeah,
I posted about my welcome baskets for
yeah.
tenants,
I remember.
and then of course I congratulate people with their wins. People
Yeah,
aren't afraid to brag about themselves there, and
yeah,
I
yeah. The school community, it's going the way I was hoping. Is once we get to a critical mass, which I always thought was 200, the community will just continue. Like I won't have to poke at it to like move it.
yeah, and I don't think you've had to do that for some time
Nope.
now,
Yeah,
but
it's
we
been fun.
enjoy your participation. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Um,
I enjoy being there, and I will continue to do my monthly lives and all of that. But
you
um,
almost give me so much content. I don't have I have to take time to digest it all. It's like almost overwhelming, but keep it coming. You
yeah,
know, I try to participate in the live Zooms as much as possible.
that's
Um,
awesome.
I mean, Lance Lambert answering my questions personally. It's like
How
we're
does that
20
happen?
in, it's like, whoa, I'm kind of
Yeah,
fangirl here.
yeah. I love again. I when I put school out, it was like the community's going to eventually get here. It's here now. I promised to bring on millionaires like that people would want to talk to, like
Yeah.
Lance Lambert and Henry Washington and Anna Kelly and April Crosley and all these rock stars. Yeah, you get the chance to ask them questions. These are
Yeah.
people most people can't get to.
Hmm.
But I've built relationships with, and they're like, yeah, I'll give you an hour. I'll give your community an hour, and yeah, it's fun, right, to ask them questions like Lance. It's pretty fun.
But to also hear other people ask their questions, like, oh, I didn't think of that angle.
Yeah,
Um, but another thing I like to do is go through the members and see who has similar stories to me or
yeah.
similar goals. I will follow them so that whenever they post, I get a school notification.
I didn't
Uh,
even know you could do that. That's how little I know about school.
yeah, yeah. And I enjoy watching the interviews that you do with the school members. I hope you do more of those.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. That's my intention. Absolutely.
yeah, I really enjoyed watching Jared's the other day.
That was good,
I mean,
right? Yeah. Yeah.
you're a rookie. I keep you're a rookie. You don't. That's like a rookie.
Yeah, he's the numbers guy.
Yeah, yeah,
He's definitely a numbers guy. That's fun. That's fun. Well, yeah, I appreciate you being a part of this. Thank you for saying yes. I love doing, hopefully every Sunday I get to talk to somebody from school. I
yeah.
think that would be great. Do you have like what is your eBay store? If somebody wanted to check out your eBay store.
Mom's closet.
Oh, I
Um,
love that name. Mom's
so
Closet.
the background is my mom has a history of hiding presents in her closet, and then she'll forget about them. And then at Christmas time, we'll be opening presents, and she'll be like, "Oh wait, and then she'll go to her closet, get out that present. So it's named after my mom. So,
That's
and it's
awesome.
mom's closet with a hyphen in between.
Okay.
That's yeah. So, um, yeah, that's where you can find me easiest on eBay.
There you go. Mom's closet. Stacy, you're amazing. Keep it up. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of school. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.